Hey, buddy, welcome to What the Tech. I'm Adrian Jaron. Of course, wait a minute. No, I'm not joined by Paul. I'm joined by somebody else, somebody that has never been on the show before. Jon Prosser, Front Page Tech. How you doing, John?
Hey, yeah, hang on. Pretty good.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Do I fit in?
You do. Now you fit in. Nobody would know the difference.
That's what I was trying to do. I didn't want anyone to even know this happened.
You know what? Your setup is kind of similar to his also.
I just need I need way more shit in the back to make it look like I actually work on stuff. I need the desk and a bunch of important things that aren't actually back there.
Yeah.
But of course, for the audio listeners, I can just pretend that I'm super busy.
Yeah, look, you got the door there. You just need a poster there, and you're good. I mean, that's perfect.
What I'm saying. The Thurrott tea. Oh, and also I need one of those coffee mugs. You have one of those?
I do actually have one of those.
Okay, will you send one over for the next time?
You know what? I will try to get one over to you for the next time.
That's all I'm asking. All right.
Jon Prosser, frontpagetech.net. You do videos almost every single day. You do what I refuse to do, and that's you do a video. God, I don't even know how to describe it. You do like a YouTube video review, daily tech.
It's a tech news show, but it's super edited. Super produced, and we just make fun of all the tech news stories of the day for 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, you do something fun.
Yeah,
not like what I do.
This is where you get real information. On my show, we just kind of get ourselves in trouble. So
yeah, and you do it every single day, so that's amazing. And we post it here on GFK. If you go to gfknetwork.com, you can find out everything that John is doing.
I noticed that, Andrew. If you go on your website, my face takes up the entire thing,
and that's fine. Everywhere. Listen, better yours than mine.
Literally everywhere.
Point. You're young. You're hip with the YouTubers.
Hey man, when I found you, I found this show first. I found What the Tech first when I started watching GFQ stuff.
What year was this?
And it was only a couple years ago. And that really got me into watching podcasts and stuff. And you know what? My goal moving forward was you know what? I'm gonna infiltrate GFQ. I'm gonna get my stupid little face all over the website, and I'm gonna get on What the Tech. Now I've accomplished everything.
You know what's
funny? I started
out
just watching.
I think
now I'm on the show.
Paul influenced me with a lot of stuff that I do, but I think I've influenced an entire generation of podcasters and YouTubers that were 14 when I was doing this, when I first started. Now they're 20 years old because I've been doing this for 8-9 years now. Now they're in their 20s, and you are the second person to say this to me in the last 2 days. And yesterday somebody said to me, he goes, Andrew, I really looked up to you and I started doing a podcast, and then I met you. And I go, well, what do you mean? He's like, you're a drunk and you're out of your mind. You're insane. You do the most insane things ever.
That is very true. You're one of the very few internet personalities that is totally different. Once you get to know you.
Yeah.
When I started watching GFQ, you have this aura about you. About how professional you are.
I'm very professional.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then you finally talk to me off the air.
Yeah, and then you talk to you.
Yeah. Get to know me off the air, and then you'll realize it's like I never left college. But let's talk about some tech. Guys, by the way, we're going to make this a fun show. It's going to be a little different than Paul. Paul's back next week. He's at Build right now. It's Thursday. And he is covering everything for Build, so we couldn't schedule it. It was going to be too much. It was going to be too much insanity to get it going. So I thought I'd give you guys a little show, better than canceling. Give you guys a little something. A lot is happening at Build.
Gee, Andrew, thanks.
Better than canceling.
Well, having John's on is better than canceling.
It's better than canceling. Listen, it could have been worse. A lot is happening at Build. A lot of information. I don't know where to begin with the Build stuff. I'm going to save a lot of the nitty-gritty for next week, but I do want to kind of review the stuff that's happening. One of the big stories here, obviously, is Microsoft renames Redstone anniversary update. It'll be coming out around the same time that Windows 10 came out, which was July? End of July, right?
Yeah, hence the name anniversary.
Hence the name anniversary. A lot of the changes in it has to do with Cortana, a lot of updates to Cortana, bug fixes. It's not a major overhaul release, obviously, but this is going to be just the nitty-gritty stuff, fixing the things and changing things that people have been requesting.
Which, honestly, I'm a big fan of. I'm a huge fan of how Microsoft has executed Windows 10. making it more of like instead of like giving us these large service pack updates and then that's just what you got. Continuing to update Windows in this manner seems to work out a lot better. And always being up to date with the latest OS definitely works out for me. I love Windows 10. I started using it when it was in beta, and I really haven't had any major problems with it. I have more problems with Skype, as we know, apparently, than I've ever had with Windows 10.
What did they say?
It works well with what I try to
200.
do.
What was the number that they gave yesterday at the conference? X amount of users of Skype daily. Like
Yeah, see,
something
Andrew,
crazy.
I wrote the note down, and then you made me restart my computer before it streams.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the
It was
note
it was
is.
a ridiculous
It was-
number, and everybody was tweeting
Yeah.
like they're like, yeah, unhappy users, of Skype, begrudgingly
Well,
using Skype.
they're doing what we see Google do when they kind of like flaunt the numbers of Android. Like,
Well, we
they're
have
like, oh,
230.
there's
It was 230
this
million
many-
Windows 10 active Windows 10 devices. So
right, and like Google will say there's this many Android users, but like okay, but what version of Android? There's like some stuff that they leave out, and in this case, Microsoft says they have however many. What do you say?
230
users?
million active Windows 10 devices.
Right, and like that's a good number.
That's a
but
great number,
this
yeah.
is we're talking PCs. I guess the Xbox counts, right?
I don't know if the Xbox. Wait a minute. No, I don't know if the Xbox does count. Well, I guess it does, right? It should count.
And then Windows Phone as well.
Windows Phone as well.
So the numbers are. I don't want to say they're inflated, but we're also tacking in the people that were upgraded not necessarily by choice.
That was
but
one of me. That
because
was
they
me.
restarted their computer
Yeah.
and it was just there.
And they've downplayed that, and I've spoken about that. It happened to a machine that I never use. Nobody uses it for anything other than Skype. I don't click on anything, and I got up one morning and I had updated to Windows 10. Now, with that said, I did update my production machine to Windows 10 yesterday.
How'd that go?
2 days. It was so easy compared to all the driver issues that I had a couple months ago. I mean, this was
Yeah,
easy
it seems
breezy.
like it's either make or break. If your hardware is like completely compatible and ready to go, it's a breeze to make the update happen.
It's not 100% compatible with some of the stuff. So what I did the upgrade, and then I blew it away, and then I did a clean install of Windows 10. So with Windows 10, the install for software perfectly easy. A lot of the hardware was fine. I only had one driver that I had to do through command prompt. I had to do an administrative install, I guess, of that application because I couldn't load it because of the whatever, the certificate was expired for that driver. So it's not Windows' fault, obviously, but I had to go and do it that way. But everything else was absolutely easy. It was absolutely perfect. I was stunned how simple it was to do the update. It took me about 4 hours beginning to end. And
now,
that's a
what
huge
was the
accomplishment.
hesitation?
Drivers.
What was the hesitation?
Well,
for you?
because
And
it's a production machine, and I didn't know how the recording software would work. I don't know
It
how
was
my
just a
video
risk
capture
for you.
devices, and I don't know how my audio driver would work. I was testing it on 2 other machines with very similar specs over the last, I guess, 6 months, and everything was fine. So I moved everything over. When it's a production machine, when it's a work environment, you don't want to necessarily jump on the update. But so far so good. Everything is perfectly fine. But it is
Speaking
interesting.
of command prompt, as you mentioned, they brought the Bash shell to Windows. Well, it's coming to Windows. In the new update.
A lot of people are excited for that. A lot of web developers.
Yeah.
Why is it such a big deal for them?
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not too sure. This is a big deal just in terms of a partnership between Canonical and Microsoft to bring like the Linux command line to Windows. So that in itself is a big deal. Just in terms of the partnership, I'm curious to see what comes of it. I'm sure we'll know why it's such a big deal when we see like native Ubuntu binaries running on Windows. But of course, that is up to the developers to kind of.
Well,
show
Terry
us
Myerson noted that this is a frequently asked request from developers, and I could see it. I'm curious if they are actually going to use this within Windows.
Right.
This has been something that's been asked for a long time, and now they're bringing it over, and I think it's great. This has been the new Microsoft, right? Where they're bridging the gap, where they're breaking down the walls, and they're pretty much letting you do whatever you want to do. You could use Microsoft services on all the devices you want to use it on. You don't have walls put up, and I guess this is the next step in I guess enticing developers to continue using Microsoft.
For sure. I
Um,
mean,
yeah.
this is definitely a new Microsoft, and I am totally okay with it.
So
I really do like the direction they're going in. We've had some bumps along the way, but I think after so many years of making some weird decisions, they're finally on the right track. And I'm just hoping they pull it together.
you know what the issue with Microsoft is that a lot of other brands, a lot of other companies don't have. They are appealing to a large group of people, a very vast user base, and the way that I use Windows is very different than 90% of our audience's use of Windows. Everybody uses Windows
Right.
very differently. It's not just super. You got developers using Windows, you got enterprise users, you have advanced users, then you have at-home users, and everybody uses it differently, and everybody has different requests. Like something that's being implemented now with an anniversary version is the newly announced Windows Ink platform, which
Right.
expands inking capabilities it expands of which have been available in Windows for many years. Pretty much, this is going to allow you to use your pen in a very different way. This is a major approach for them when it comes to on the go, on mobile, with tablets. I have to tell
Right.
you, almost every doctor's office that I go to is using a convertible tablet, and a lot of them have started going over to the Surface platform. So something like this is really important for that group of people. Microsoft is realizing that it's not just one thing that they have to do; it's multiple things that they have to do to appeal to everybody. I think these new implementations and the new things that they're announcing, like with Ink and what they're doing with Cortana and implementing Bash support now. These are all things that you and I may not need, but there is a very large group of people needing these things.
Right. And I like that that's just part of a side effect of them moving forward with Windows the way they are moving forward with it. Like, so I think either on Tech News Weekly or one of the shows that I've done with you, we've sort of talked about this, about how previously they made some really big moves too quickly. And
Yeah.
that's what turns even like super dedicated customers away from the platform. When people are used to a very familiar use of Windows and in terms of how they've been using the OS for years, we have Windows Vista, which was kind of meh. Windows 7 obviously was what Windows Vista should have been, but it was still familiar. And then Windows 8, they just like kind of shifted the way you're supposed to use Windows. And you can kind of see where Microsoft's vision was in terms of the future use of the OS and the UI.
Yeah.
But the way they did it was just too quick. It wasn't bad. It was just too quick, and it confused the average user. They just didn't like it because it wasn't what
Well,
was
was it really not bad?
I mean, in terms of the future goal with Windows, and they clearly had a vision of,
They had a vision,
okay,
yeah.
we're going more mobile. That they were correct there, but they just did it too quickly. We weren't completely mobile yet. We still
You know what it
aren't.
was like? It's like, oh, you're saying we're not moving to mobile quick enough? Well, you know what? We're going to bring mobile to your desktop.
we don't care what you think.
We don't care. We're bringing mobile to
and
your
guess what? You're gonna walk away from the computer, come back, and we're gonna update for you. No problem.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though.
I really like what they're doing. And now with Windows 10, I think they nailed it. And now, because they're not, here, brand new version of Windows, hopefully you like it. They're keeping Windows 10, and they're giving, they're updating in increments that they have time to add these cool features for the other users. As you said, they can cater to some other users because the core customer base of Microsoft and Windows is taken care of. So now they can go ahead and add the cool features. They can play with stuff like Windows Ink, which honestly looks super awesome and fluid, at least in the demos that they showed yesterday.
So who do you think that is appealing to exactly with Ink?
I think you nailed it. Just different jobs, doctors, whatever. I think students will really benefit from this as well. So it really depends. Like for me, I can't tell you the last time I used a pen or a pencil for that matter. So obviously it's not something that I need, but it's not a throwaway feature either. I think it's really well done in terms of the demo we saw. Hopefully it works that well.
Yeah, so some of the other things, I mean, there was a lot of Xbox talk also. They were discussing Xbox and how It was interesting. Terry Myerson said that there's more Xbox Ones than Apple TVs. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And they are trying to appeal to that broad market. Now, they will be getting this update, by the way. So this is part of that one universal, system where everybody across the board gets the updates. But with Xbox, it's a very different look. It's a very different feel. The issues that Xbox is having are very different than what everybody else is having. They want more apps, obviously, but they want universal apps, and
Yeah.
that has been an uphill battle for a lot of people. They want to be able to develop applications and put it on Xbox, and up until now, that's been a major, major concern for a lot of developers, and it's not really enticing when you have to develop on multiple platforms. If you could just do one and have it universal, that's absolutely
Right.
great for them. Um, Sony actually came up with an interesting story this week, and I'm going to jump to that and I'll come back to this, but that they're going to be updating the PlayStation
Right.
for 4K support and some beefier stuff. I don't. I'm curious as to why now they're doing that. Why this soon? 2 years in, they're releasing pretty much a new version of the PlayStation,
Right.
like
I
PlayStation
would
4.5.
say I think 4K kind of I don't even want to say took off, but it grew quicker than they probably expected, and it's a marketing thing. It's a way that they could sell. They could get in front of the Xbox, and they could sell more units that way. And they're kind of future proofing themselves for the next 2, 3, 4 years until we see the next PlayStation. So I think it's a nice little upgrade in the middle of the lifespan of the unit itself. I don't know how excited people are for 4K, considering
Are you
the
excited
majority of
for it?
people probably
Does it
don't.
do anything for
I
you? You cover it all the time. I mean, does it?
I know. 4K video is cool, I guess, but in terms of where we're moving for standards going forward, I'm more excited for HDR video. I think that looks better. But
Yeah.
I do see the selling point of 4K video, especially in gaming, and being able to increase the graphics and the textures and everything would look incredible.
Yeah.
Only though if you have a 4K display. So
Yeah.
hopefully if you have a 1080p display TV, you're not running out to buy
Well,
a
listen,
4K
I
PlayStation
have,
4.
and the people that I know, right, when the HD revolution happened and HD was affordable, everybody went out and got an HD TV when it was affordable. I'm not talking
Mhm.
about the first, couple of years when it was like a couple grand like that. Now you could buy a 4K TV for $600-700, 50-inch 4K TV, and it looks fine, but people aren't running out to get it.
No.
Because of lack of content that we've discussed here a bunch of times. You go on the Xbox, or the PlayStation. What services are going to use for 4K content? You're most likely I'm not talking about gaming, obviously, but I'm talking about media consumption. You're going to use Netflix, and they have a handful of content that's 4K. I don't know if Hulu's doing 4K yet. It's still
Yeah, I'm
very
not sure.
small. The traditional ways for you to access content, it's still very small when it comes to 4K.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen. You're not going to get a boom. It is interesting though. Sony is pushing that, considering they have a TV format platform now.
Right.
With Sony
Wasn't
View.
it the View? Yeah.
Yeah, which I was supposed to get on Monday. I didn't sign up for it on Monday. I've been sick all week, so which I want to try, but that may be a good approach for them, where they're saying, "Listen, we have 4K content, and guess what? Our shows, we're going to be able to put on 20 shows, 20 channels on our platform that's 4K content. Yeah, it's going to
Yeah.
be like HD. You're just going to get like bug videos for a while, with like Discovery. You're going to get like
Yeah.
jungle footage
And
for a while,
nature.
but
Yeah.
that was enough. I mean, I can't tell you, and most likely all our viewers do that. They got an HD TV early on. You only had like 10 channels that were HD.
Right. We still have a bit to go, but I mean, for heavy duty console gamers out there, especially the people running on the PS4, this might give them enough interest to actually go out and purchase a 4K TV finally. I remember just like 3.5 years ago when we first started my show, Front Page Tech, on the very first episode, I talked about one of the first 4K TVs, which at the time was like 35 grand. So it's
Yeah.
crazy how quickly that stuff came down. So 4K is definitely moving fast. It's definitely not a standard yet, but who knows? For gamers, this might do something for them.
Yeah, I think so. Do you want to comment on anything else from Build that you saw?
No, I mean the Xbox stuff was kind of cool. You know, Cortana's coming to the Xbox, but
I wonder how that if
said,
people are actually going to use it. You know,
right? They said that the Xbox stuff will probably come more towards E3. At E3 is when they'll talk more about this update incorporated into the Xbox One.
Well, also HoloLens.
But right. Oh my dude, is HoloLens not the coolest thing you've ever seen?
It is really cool. Listen, it's not as good as the initial prototype from what I've heard, but it is a really cool concept and with enough development. So right now the story is that HoloLens is hitting the first wave of developers who signed up for the developer edition, so they can start working on this thing. But the concept of HoloLens done right is game changing for many reasons. Gaming, media consumption, computing. I mean, this is really a cool concept. Now, it's a $3,000 developer kit right now.
It's a $3,000 cool concept.
It's right now for developers, but NASA's using it, Volvo's using it. There are a lot of partners that are using HoloLens, and they're going to be implementing it in some way. The thing about HoloLens is this device that we see today will not be the production version, obviously. This thing is in the next generation Xbox. This will be the next generation Xbox, in my opinion.
Now, so you played around with some VR stuff.
I have, and I hate it.
I was going to say, the HoloLens to me looks way better than anything we're seeing in the VR market.
No, well, no, rightfully so. I mean, the thing is way more powerful from what I've tested when I got my hands on HoloLens. But it's not the same as a VR, obviously, that you're connecting to your phone. I don't like people are going crazy for the VR stuff.
Reality.
People are going crazy for the VR stuff that you hook up to your Samsung device or even like the Google Cardboard. I don't get it. I think it's a little hokey. I think it's like 3D. It doesn't look great to me. The devices overheat. All the phones that I've used overheat using it. I'm not crazy about it. With that said, I'm not saying it's not going to be great. Eventually, probably it's going to be remarkable. It's too early right now to say this is great, this is amazing. If a company's going to be, you know what though? I'm more inclined and I'm more excited about companies like Sony and Microsoft playing around with VR than I am Samsung connecting, a box to your phone.
Well, yeah, that's just a cool, like, hey, I want to try this, and it's an affordable price where we can just pay $20-$30 for a little box that we can stick our phone in. But in terms of VR, nothing that I've seen beats the HTC Vive. And
really?
But I mean, that's like how far and how deeply that's integrated to everything around you is crazy. Like, there's sensors all around you, cameras all around you. It's tracking everything. So it's way, way more advanced than just like an Oculus or something. I mean, it is tracking everything. And it can literally put you in the environment in a completely different way than the other quote unquote VR headsets can do. Augmented reality, though, is a totally different thing, which is what we're seeing with the HoloLens.
Yeah,
and it is so cool, so cool.
I mean, all I could think of is at home, walking around with this thing and just watching what I want to watch while my wife watches it on the real TV. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that you could do at home with this thing. Gaming, for example, will be totally different. Just the entire concept of it is really cool. I don't know how long it takes to get to where, people like you and me, just the average user, we're going to be able to use this thing. We're a couple of years away, obviously. This isn't mainstream ready by any means.
And probably another year or two off from... So once we get it, we're probably another year or two off from getting what we actually saw at that first that first announcement where they really showed the crazy demos of
Yeah.
how it could be
I mean,
used in the future.
Paul used the demo, the prototype,
Hmm.
and he mentioned it here that how awesome it was. Like you literally get transported to Mars, and you're on the surface of
It's
Mars, and you're
incredible.
walking, and for a minute you have to think back. You're like, where the hell am I? Oh my god, this thing looks awesome. I mean, that's going to be the next big computing change.
And I think that's what everyone wanted with Google Glass. Google Glass never even claimed to be or give us what the HoloLens is able to give us, but like everyone's expectations of the future is what we're seeing with the HoloLens, and that's what everyone wanted with Google Glass, and now being able to get it, with the HoloLens, at least at some point in the very near future, is crazy to me, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, but with Google Glass, to me the thing about Google Glass was that the future of
It sucked.
something like that. It's
That's what
yeah,
Google Glass.
I never had interest in it, but it's like a contact lens, like the future of something like that is a contact lens.
Yeah.
And we're God knows how many years away from that. Who knows where we are when that.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah,
How many years do you think we are away from not having just normal glasses like this anymore, where everything is like there's some
smart.
sort of technology integrated, like we saw with Google Glass,
I think we're gonna start seeing that in the next 5 to 10 years.
like where everyone has it.
Yeah, where everybody's walking around connected to something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It depends it depends if there is a need for it, right? If there's a need for it, then it'll be a lot quicker. I would say 10 years. We're 10 years
Yeah,
away
I
from
think
that.
10 years is a pretty safe number.
Some people say no, that's too much. But think about, how long Google Glass was developed, how many years ago that was, and
Well,
where it is now.
if you really think about it, we still got CDs laying around. You know what I mean?
We
These
do, yeah.
physical media. So I think that someday we're not going to have normal like eyeglasses like we have now. There will be technology integrated in them to a level similar to what we saw with Google Glass. Hopefully, what we see with HoloLens, that would be awesome. But I think 10 years is definitely the safer bet there, considering the trends of how long it takes other things to kind of like fall off.
Yeah, I predict there's going to be a major rejection of technology over the next couple of years, where we're going to want to be less wired. If you think about how connected we are at all
freaks
times.
out, Andrew.
No, but think about how
because
connected
you're wearing
we
Google
are.
Glass, you're recording them, and you're going to give the recording to
No,
Mark
no,
Zuckerberg.
not because
Mark
of that.
Zuckerberg's going to come to your house and eat your dog.
No, not because of that. Because of just technology fatigue. You know what I do at night now? People think I'm insane. I shut my phone off.
just shut yourself in a cardboard
I
box.
take my cell phone. I just throw it out the window every night now. No, I literally shut my phone off. I shut my laptop off. I go back to 1998 where I'm just watching cable television. I want nothing to do with alerts. I don't want to get pings. I don't want to be discovered. I don't want anybody to contact me. I'm in bed and it's over. I no longer am connected after the hours of 10. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm so tired of my phone going off or an email. You never stop. And I think that we're going to approach something like that where people are really getting turned off to constantly being connected. Paul does something amazing. I can't get in touch with, unless I call him, obviously, unless it's an emergency. But Paul is gone at 6 o'clock.
He just clocks out.
No, he clocks out. He's done. And I'll message him. I'll get a message back in the morning. And I know that I'm going to get a message back in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, that's brilliant. That's the way to do it. We're way too connected.
I couldn't.
I almost hit this woman yesterday with my car because I was turning.
Where is this even going?
She really upset. I was turning, and it's my right of way to drive, and she's not looking, and she's looking at her phone, and she's running. And I had to pay attention, and I had to say, well, I'm going to predict she's not going to stop. And she didn't stop, and she almost got hit by the car. I think we're too consumed in this. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, I don't think we're too consumed in it. I think just some people suck and have zero self-control and never pay attention to the real world.
I do not. I just want to be virtual at this point. Get rid of me. Get rid of my body. Just make me virtual. No, but you know what was interesting though at Build? One more thing I want to touch on that. There was very little talk about phone. Very little.
Yeah.
And I get that as Build and it's not a hardware platform. I get that. But it was only mentioned in passing yesterday. And I don't know how to take that. I don't know if I
Yeah.
should take that as it's not a priority, or hey, we're working on some really cool stuff here. This is for developers. We'll talk about the phone for another event.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It is a little depressing when you think about that.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't like hint to anything whatsoever.
Yeah,
They were just kind of just here's everything else but phones. Hopefully no one mentions that the phones aren't here.
yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do with it. They're they're in a really weird place. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Windows Phone, and the concept right now is just so it's like becoming more foreign almost.
And you know what's sad?
As
The
time
sad
goes
part
on.
is it's a really good platform. I absolutely love.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's just a lack of
yeah,
app development.
yeah,
But hopefully now, I mean, if we see an increase in the quote unquote universal apps, that will work better in Microsoft's favor. A lot of companies have to move away from universal apps, right? Like Apple is a good example of always stating that we're different from Android because the apps are tailored for certain
for the
platforms
platform.
and
Yeah,
different resolutions. You know what I mean? And that's what separates Apple from like Android, where essentially it's just in like if you have a tablet running Android, it's just an app that was created for the phone that's kind of just blown up on the
yeah.
tablet screen. But Microsoft really doesn't have the choice right here. They
And
can't.
by the
They
way, the
can't
same goes for
settle.
the TV, right? For Android
Right. I
on
mean,
the
and
Amazon
Microsoft.
Fire or
Right. Microsoft can't say, "Hey, we need separate apps for separate platforms." They don't have that kind of leverage right now, and they need anything they can get. So I think making the platform more universal is a good idea
yeah,
in terms of trying to save Windows Phone
yeah,
for app development. Because right now that's really the only chance they have, and
yeah.
it's really disappointing that there's just a lack of
Well, that the only
of an
chance
ecosystem. In
that's
app
the only
market.
chance for the ecosystem by convincing developers that it's going to be easy for them to make it for all the platforms and to make it for all the
Right.
platforms. There's a reason why they're saying there's 230 active Windows 10 devices because
Because
that
that is more impressive than saying there's 10 Windows Phone users.
yes, it is. That is way more impressive, and it's more impressive to the developer and enticing to the developer, saying, "Wow, there's potentially 230 million users that could potentially find my application because I could make a universal app and have it on all platforms." That's
Right.
why that number is important, not because they're doing gangbusters, with sales.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, you need developers to create your ecosystem. Where would the iPhone be if the ecosystem wasn't where it was within a year or
Oh,
two?
I mean, yeah, the apps make the iPhone. It's
Yeah,
I
there's nothing special beyond
iOS is
that,
not
really.
great.
Yeah. Well, we saw with
So,
the last version that came out, so
yeah,
it is
maybe we didn't
interesting.
have enough phones there.
We talk about different platforms, and we're discussing right now some of the stuff at Build and different platforms. We discussed Sony. I have had zero interest in Chromebooks. Right? I never got it. I don't get the whole Chromebook thing until this.
I mean, I totally get it.
Do you?
And I mean,
Okay.
maybe not for someone like you, but
No,
like
no, tell me.
I would hardcore recommend a Chromebook. I would never. I don't want one. Let me just be clear. I don't want one at all. So as like a thank you for being part of GFQ, Andrew, please never send me a Chromebook.
I will not send you a Chromebook.
Okay. But I get it because I would recommend it for the like average student where everything they do is in the cloud. They don't need much in terms of hardware or software for that matter. Everything's in the cloud. You have Google Drive at your disposal, and everything works out that way. And you just need to check some email, browse the web, look at YouTube, and you're fine. Chromebooks are perfectly fine for that. But you pre-ordered one?
I did. I pre-ordered the Acer Chromebook 14, the new one.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to
Are you
find.
excited?
You know what? I kind of amped to test it out. I don't have a Chromebook. Pretty much, I get the concept that it's just Google Chrome and it's all the Chrome apps, and I'm already in the Chrome, the Google ecosystem with everything, pretty much with my phone and with the apps that I use. So I think it's $299 for this device. It's an Intel chipset. Let me pull it up here. There we go. I mean, it's pretty. It looks like a MacBook.
You said $299.
$299. It looks like a
Wow.
MacBook. It's very thin. It's running an Intel Celeron N3060, or you could get the quad core version, the N3150, N3160.
Which I don't know why you would ever need a quad core Chromebook.
Yeah, I got the HD version. I not the full HD, but the the better one. It's full HD and HD. That's funny. It has Intel HD graphics. It has 4 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage, 32 gigs of storage, the one that I got, one HDMI out. So pretty much it's very basic. But if all you do, I want to test this out because I'm tired of bringing my laptop up and down constantly because with the baby.
I was just going to ask you what triggered it.
Yeah, because with the baby, I'm constantly going from the office upstairs and I'm bringing my laptop to do it. So I want something to keep in there just for emails and basic stuff. So I got this pretty much for the bedroom. When I'm working in the bedroom, I can leave my Mac downstairs and I don't, because I really don't do any heavy computing up there.
Right.
It is interesting, though, that this was appealing to me because a year ago, I had no interest in it. Now I have interest in this device.
Yeah, we're just we're moving more mobile.
By the way, another thing to take away from Windows.
Damn it. Go ahead. I hate the Skype delay. As long as you can, get what you need to get done, and most of your work is online, especially when you kind of clock out, like you said, and you just need to have something upstairs, I think it's perfect for you, especially for $299.
$299. I ordered on Amazon. I pre-ordered. I think it's being shipped in sometime in April. So next couple days it should be shipped. Paul posted a link on therot.com, and that's what got me interested in it because I'm like, oh, Paul's talking about a Chromebook. It's weird.
Does Paul get commission from recommending?
Paul got commission from the sale because I clicked on his Amazon link. Yes, but and you guys should go and get it from there too. But it is, so I can't see who said it. Sorry, but because the chat is blocked. But it says kids change everything. Absolutely. I would not have gotten a Chromebook, but this is another device that I am buying, and it is not a Windows device. So they are competing with them.
You are a new Andrew.
I'm a new Andrew. The $99 is the pretty tax, I call it. This thing should be $199, but it kind of looks like a Mac, so you're paying a little bit more money. Before we go into let's see how we're doing on time. Before we go into the next story, I want to remind everybody we're recording this live here on Thursday. Paul's at Build. I'm here with Jon Prosser, frontpagetech.net. He does shows every single day. Every day you're doing something. That's all you do. Every day you're hustling. You're doing something.
I think 6 days out of the week is usually when we're in production.
6 days. Wow. Take one day off for yourself. That's perfect.
Yep.
Go check out frontpagetech.net. Also follow them on Twitter. We're going to be doing a post show where I'm going to be asking Jon a couple of questions about how he gets stuff done. And
oh God.
Yeah.
I was not prepared.
Little interview. If you're watching this live, stay tuned. You're going to be able to see it. If you're not, go sign up for our Patreon page, patreon.com/whatthetech. You get access there to our bonus content. All you got to do is tip us something. Quarter, nickel, dime, I think quarter or anything over a quarter you can tip us. And you get access to weekly quick podcasts that we put on there. Patreon.com/whatthetech. Are you excited about the Tesla, the new one?
No.
No? I thought you would be. You're into this stuff.
You would think. But cars are just tools to get me from one point to another.
This is awesome. They're going to announce it today.
It's not like I don't understand why people are so excited. It's just me personally. I'm an asshole that doesn't care. That's just me. But I know I completely understand why these are such a big deal. And when are they actually unveiling it?
Tonight.
So pretty much by the time
this podcast is posted.
We have not seen it yet, though.
Yeah, so it's going to be unveiled. So there is a post. Wired magazine. Wired is claiming that they got a glimpse of it, where it's covered, and it looks. I mean, the image that I saw. I mean, it's covered, but you could kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. This isn't going to be like a really cheapo version of a Tesla. It's just a really affordable version of a Tesla. They are. Essentially, this is really kind of the model they were aiming towards the whole time. They're looking at $35,000 before the tax break, before that $7,000 tax break that you get for buying an electric vehicle, which is awesome. The specs are that it's going to have a 300-mile plus range on a charge. The 0 to 60 will be under 4 seconds, which it should be because those electric motors, they're quick on the pickup. It's going to be 8:30 p.m. Pacific for the launch. I am really excited about this because this is something that I would potentially buy.
You gonna walk out tomorrow and go get it?
I'm not going to walk out tomorrow and get it. I did not put $1,000 down for this car, but this is something that is interesting, and it's a tech device. It's not necessarily, they're not making cars like a car company. They're making it like a technology company,
which is really interesting.
Yeah, because
they're
the car
upgrading. They literally just upgrade the software in the car, and all of a sudden it drives itself.
Yeah,
so it's really cool.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing though. You
Eh.
know, firmware
it's
updates
cool, is what it is.
Yeah, do not unplug. Do you wanna unplug this car? They're expected the Model 3 is going to be about 20% smaller than the Tesla's flagship sedan, which is, it's going to be a smaller version of it. I'm really curious on what they do with this and if the traditional automakers pick up on this. Tesla's really changed the way that we look at vehicles. I've driven in a Tesla, and I have to tell you, it is not like any other car that you sit in. It doesn't feel the same. It takes a couple of minutes of you adjusting to the fact that there's no vroom vroom. Even the pedal feels weird because it's an electric motor.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see it, and it's interesting that they're unveiling this during the New York Auto Show, but not at the New York Auto Show.
I guess that isn't.
I think this is them separating themselves from the car industry, where they're saying, "Listen, we're not."
I think they already have separated.
Yeah,
themselves,
there's a strategic reaction to that, but reasoning for that reaction by them. But this is fascinating because we're going to see more companies, more traditional based companies, take a tech approach over the next couple of years, where things are changing. We're doing a smart home concept now. Where all your light bulbs are connected. You could see what light bulbs are on, what light bulbs are off. The energy company now here in New York is supplying people with smart thermostats where it gives them Wi-Fi and over the net updates on what their electric bill is going to look like and what's taking the most electricity. Which
That's cool.
They're starting to play around with that idea, and it will take a while for them. For like the electric company or the phone company really to do this, but the car company has been so instilled on the way that they do things, where they'll always they're a decade behind no matter what they do compared to tech industries. So this may give them some sort of reasoning to speed up as far as, technology goes in the vehicle, in the car.
Well, okay. Here's a question for you. Another question for you.
Yes.
Do you think Tesla is sort of doing what we see Google doing with Google Fiber? Like, okay, so Google Fiber, Google does not really care about everyone getting on Google Fiber. They don't want you to spend a bunch of money or switch to Google Fiber because they want your business. What they want is to set a standard. Once they get out there, it kind of forces other ISPs to have to compete with that and increase their speeds and get into more markets. And because of that, more people can access Google at a faster speed, and that's how Google makes their money, from advertising, from you, the product, the consumer. So Google doesn't necessarily care about you, buying Google Fiber. So do you think Tesla's sort of aiming to do the same thing? Obviously, they want the customers as well, but are they trying to push the market? Are they trying? I
would say initially that might have been their approach, but with this car that they're releasing, I feel like this is them really coming after the car industry. For $35,000.
Yeah.
You're getting, from all accounts, you're getting 300 miles on a full charge, which is way more than any 300 miles on a full charge. You're getting, I'm trying to think what kind of car that would be equivalent to. Does my car give me 300 miles on a full charge? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I get about 280 miles on a full tank. So
you peasant.
Yeah, I don't think I get that on my on my Lexus that I absolutely hate, by the way. I don't know. I think this is a major hit at the car industry. You know what? If these are available, and they're not going to be available for a while, right? This is going to be a high demand vehicle. But let's say it's readily available, like going into a Chevy store and buying a Malibu. If it's readily available at $35,000, why wouldn't people want to buy this? Obviously your house has to be wired to charge it and stuff, but why wouldn't you want to get something like this? It's very, very appealing to people, especially someone like me that doesn't really drive that much. I walk everywhere, or I drive my wife's car. If I want a secondary car and I know I'm not going to really travel for work and I just need something to go around town, this is great. I get it. I drive around town and go put on about 10, 15 miles, come back, charge it, and I'm done. It's constantly full charge. I never have to, get gas in the car, put gas in the car. So it is interesting.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
The idea of never going to another gas pump is awesome.
You got to go to a charging station, but.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the future, though.
Welcome to the future. Can't wait till we have real hoverboards and we're flying around in space.
Wait till we're driving Teslas wearing HoloLenses.
Yeah. Well, with a HoloLens, you can pretend that you're driving a Tesla.
Right.
That could happen too.
You
John,
won't actually get anywhere, but
Yeah, I thought that was cool. John, thanks for doing this with me, man.
Oh, not a problem.
This is fun.
I'll be on anytime that Paul is sick, absent.
Yeah. Are you on with us tomorrow?
Doing Tech News Weekly?
Yeah.
I haven't been formally invited, so
that is your formal invite. That is your formal invite.
Yes, I'll be on.
Yeah. Go to our website, gfknetwork.com. Guys, if you're watching live, stay tuned. We're going to do our post show where I'm going to talk to John. If not, go to patreon.com/whatthetech and get it there. That's about it for this week, guys. Nice and quick. A little bonus. You know what? I was going to cancel. I couldn't find someone to fill in. I finally got John. I've been begging him all week.
I was the last choice.
Jeez. And then John's like, hey, I want to come on. I was like, okay. No, I wanted John on. I wanted to do this for you guys.
Andrew.
I wanted to do this for you guys. And hopefully you'll check out John's content. Frontpagetech.com. Frontpagetech.net, sorry. All right, guys. That's it for this week. Take care.